morning children. Today we will be starting a new lesson, chapter 11, Mensuration. This branch of mathematics deals with finding the perimeter and area of any closed plane figure as well as volume and surface area of solids. So what are the plane figures? The plane figures under your consideration is rectangle, square, triangle and circle. Let's find out what is the definition for the perimeter as well as the area for such closed plane figures. What do you mean by the perimeter of any plane figure? Perimeter is the distance around its boundary. So what is the application of perimeter is to find out the length of wire required to fence a ground or the length of the boundary wall. This can be calculated using the concept of perimeter. What do you mean by area? Area is the region covered by it. Mainly area is used for paving the tiles, the ground with the tiles, or you can understand the area covered by a football. When a player plays in the whole ground, he is covering the whole area, which shows that area is the region covered or the region enclosed by that plane figure. Let's define or let's review the formulas you have done in the previous classes for such figures. The first figure is a rectangle. What are the dimensions of a rectangle? The dimensions of a rectangle are length and breadth. Opposite sides of a rectangle are equal. So a rectangle will have length and breadth. Perimeter is the distance around the plane figure, which shows that length plus breadth plus length plus breadth, which represents 2 times length plus 2 times breadth, or the formula is 2 into L plus B. Area of a rectangle is length into breadth. Now, the second figure under consideration is a square. A square has all the 4 sides equal and we call the side as A. What is the perimeter of a square is 4 times A or 4 times side, and what is the area of a square is side into side, or it is the same as A square. The third figure is a 3-sided polygon, any triangle. For any triangle, let's take one side as A, B and C. For any triangle, the perimeter is sum of all sides, or in this figure, it is A plus B plus C. And for the area, we need the altitude. If the altitude corresponds to this base B, or this is altitude, area of any triangle is half into base into corresponding altitude. Corresponding altitude. So whichever is the base under consideration, the altitude should be to that particular base. That is why half into base into corresponding altitude. And the next figure is a circle. A circle, the dimension is radius. What is the perimeter, or we call the perimeter of a circle as circumference of a circle, and circumference is calculated using the formula pi into d or 2 pi r, where the value of pi is a constant called 22/7. What is the area of a circle is area is equal to pi r square. Again, the pi value can be considered as a constant of 22/7. And the last one is a parallelogram. What is the meaning of a parallelogram is when two sides of a quadrilateral are parallel, we call it as a parallelogram. In a parallelogram also opposite sides are equal. So the perimeter, it will be the same as the perimeter of a rectangle, 2 times length plus 2 times breadth. And if you consider the base and the corresponding altitude, area of a parallelogram is base into corresponding altitude. Whichever is the base you are considering, that particular base into the altitude to that particular base. Based on these formulas you have learnt earlier, let's start with the review exercise 11.1. First question, a square and a rectangular field with measurements as given in the figure have same perimeter. Which field has a larger area? In the figure, you can see a square with side 60 meter and a rectangle with length as 80 meter. The breadth is unknown to you, but to find that breadth, the concept is the perimeter of both the figures are same. It is mentioned that the perimeter is same. You have to find out the area and compare the areas. So it is given that perimeter of square is equal to perimeter of rectangle. What is the formula for perimeter of a square? Perimeter means it is the distance around the figure or add all the sides. So 4 times A is equal to, the perimeter of a rectangle is 2 into L plus B. Let's substitute the values. 4 into 60 is equal to 2 into, the length is 80 and the breadth is unknown to you. 4 into 60 is 240 is equal to 2 into 80 is 160 plus 2b. 240 minus 160 is equal to 2b. 240 minus 160 is 80 is equal to 2b, or breadth is equal to 80 divided by 2, which is equal to 40. And now we have to find the area of both the figures and compare their areas. What is the formula for area of a square? Area of a square is equal to side square or A square, which is the same as 60 into 60 or 3600 square meter. Same way, what will be the area of rectangle? Area of rectangle is length into breadth, which is equal to 80 into 40. 8 fours are 32, 3200 square meter. And now to compare the area, which figure has a greater area? A square is greater in area. If you want to see as to how much it is greater, you can calculate as square is greater in area by 3600 minus 3200, that is 400 meter square. Question 2. Mrs. Kaushik has a square plot with the measurements as shown in the figure. She wants to construct a house in the middle of the plot. A garden is developed around the house. Find the total cost of developing a garden around the house at the rate of rupees 55 per meter square. The word developing a garden is giving you a hint that we have to find out the area of the plot as well as the area of the house. And then if you can see the shaded region which shows the area required for garden by the figure, we can understand that area of the garden can be found out by subtracting the area required for house from the total area of the plot. This is the figure representing the plot as well as the area required for the house. From the measurements you can make out that the plot is in the shape of a square as well as the plot which is selected for the house is in the shape of a rectangle. You have to find out the shaded region which is kept for the garden. So the first step is area of square plot is equal to, the formula is a square, or it is 25 into 25 meter into 25 meter, which is 625 meter square. Now area required for house is equal to, it's in the shape of a rectangle, that is L into B, which is the same as 20 meter into 15 meter, or 15 into 2 is 30, or it is 300 meter square. Therefore, what is the area for garden? The area for garden is 625 minus 300 meter square minus 300 meter square, which is the same as 325 meter square. And now for developing the garden, the cost is rupees 55 per meter square. So what is the cost for 325 meter square is 325 multiplied by 55. Cost of developing garden per meter square is equal to rupees 55. Therefore, cost of developing 325 meter square is equal to 325 into 55. Let's multiply 325 into 55. 5 5s are 25, 10, 12, 16, 25, 2, 5 2s are 10, 12, 16. Which is equal to rupees 17,875. Question number 3. The shape of a garden is rectangular in the middle and semicircular at the ends. You can see here there is a rectangle and two semicircles. Two semicircles, when you combine, it will become a circle. Find the area and perimeter of this garden. That means this garden is made up of two figures. One is a rectangle and two semicircles can be combined as one circle. And now if you can see, the total length of the garden is 20 and the width here is given as 7 meter. The breadth of the garden will take the diameter of the circle. So diameter of the semicircular region, diameter of the semicircle is 7. Therefore, the radius is equal to 7 by 2, or it is 3.5 meter. So what will be the length of the rectangle? The length of the rectangle will be 20 minus, from both the sides, 3.5 plus 3.5, or 20 minus 7, which is equal to 13 meter, and the breadth of the rectangle will be 7 meter. And now for the semicircle, radius will be 3.5 meter. We have to calculate the perimeter as well as the area of this particular figure. And now for perimeter of the figure is equal to, you can see here, it is the length of the rectangle plus the circumference of a circle plus again the length of the rectangle. That means 2 times length plus the circumference of circle, which is the same as the 2 times length, the length of the rectangle you can see as 13 meter, 2 times 13 plus circumference of the circle, the formula is 2 pi r, which is 26 plus 2 into the value of pi, you can take it as 22 by 7 into the radius we calculated as 3.5, it is 0.5, 26 plus 2 into 22 is 44, 44 into 5, it is 22, or 26 plus 22 is 48 meter. How do you find the area of this figure? The area of the figure is area of rectangle plus area of one circle. So area of the figure is equal to, what is area of the rectangle? It is LB plus area of a circle is pi r square. It is length of the rectangle is 13, breadth is 7. 13 into 7 plus 22 by 7, 3.5 the whole square, that is 7 3s are 21, 91 plus 22 by 7 into 3.5 into 3.5, 0.5. 22 into 0.5 is 11 into 3.5, 35 into 11. It is 38.5. So 98, 91 plus 38.5, 8 plus 1, 9, 9 plus 3, 12, 129.5 meter square. Perimeter, the unit is meter, and area, the unit is meter square. Question number 4. A flooring tile has the shape of a parallelogram whose base is 24 centimeter and corresponding height is 10 centimeter. How many such tiles are required to cover a floor of area 1080 meter square? That means the area of the floor is given to you and the area of each tile we can calculate. How many tiles are required to fill the floor? And now if required, you can split the tiles in whatever way you want to fill up the corners. So we need to find out the number of tiles in the shape of parallelogram required. The first concept is to make the units same. By the question, area of parallelogram need to be found out, and the base is 24 centimeter. Base is 24 centimeter, which is the same as 24 by 100 meter. And then the corresponding height is 10 centimeter, which is the same as 10 by 100 meter. Now, area of one tile is the same as, since it is a parallelogram, formula is base into corresponding altitude, that is 24 by 100 into 10 by 100 meter square. It's better to leave it as fraction because the simplification will be very easy. Area of floor is given as 1080 meter square. The question is to find out the number of tiles. So, number of tiles is equal to area of the floor divided by area occupied by one tile. It is the total area to be covered upon the area covered by one tile, which is the same as 1080 divided by 24 by 100 into 10 by 100. Division by a fraction, it will get multiplied by the reciprocal. So 1080 into 100 into 100 divided by 24 into 10. The simplification will be very easy once you maintain as a fraction. Divided by 2 is 12, divided by 2 is 5, 10 divided by 2. Again, divided by 2 is 6, this is 50, by 3 it is again 25, that means simplified by 2. 3 and 1080 is 3 3s are 9, 360. So 360 into 25 into 5, 25 into 5 is 125. So 36 into 125, 33. That means 45,000 tiles are required. Question number 5. An ant is moving around a few foot pieces of different shapes scattered on the floor. For which foot piece would the ant have to take a longer round? Remember, circumference of a circle can be obtained using the expression C is equal to 2 pi r, where r is the radius of the circle. So let's calculate the distance around these figures by checking the shapes. You can see here there is a semicircle and a diameter portion. So circumference of a semicircle is equal to, the circumference of the full circle is 2 pi r. For a semicircle it is pi r, where r represents the radius. Here the diameter is given as 2.8. So the radius in this figure is 1.4 centimeter. And now in this figure the ant has to cover a semicircle plus the diameter. So the distance covered is equal to pi r plus diameter, that is 22 by 7 into 1.4 plus 2.8, this is 0.2, 22 into 2 is 44, so 4.4 plus 2.8, 7.2 centimeter. In this figure, it is, the side is 1.5, this length also is like the diameter of the semicircle. That means a distance of 1.5 plus 2.8 plus 1.5 plus the pi r length we have calculated. There is no diameter part here, only the pi r distance. So in this figure, the distance around is equal to 1.5 plus 2.8 centimeters plus 1.5 plus the distance of the semicircle pi r is 4.4. That is 1.5, 2.8, 1.5 and 4.4. 5 plus 5, 10, 18 plus 4, 22, 2. 2 plus 1, 3, 5, 6 plus 4, 10.2 centimeter. A total distance of 10.2 centimeter, and here you can see a distance of 2 centimeter and again the semicircular region. So distance around this figure is equal to 2 centimeter plus 2 centimeter plus the pi yard length is 4.4 centimeter. That is 0.4, 2 plus 2, 4 plus 4, 8.4 centimeter. And now the question is, which distance it has covered, for which foot piece would the ant have to take a longer round? You can see the length is, one is 7.2 centimeter, 10.2 centimeter and 8.4 centimeter. So distance around this figure, that means the option B is the correct answer. This completes exercise 11.1. Let's move ahead with the next exercise and next explanation by the next class.